What's good, Facebook? It's your boy Karan L. Bay.
It's your boy the White Bay, aka Uno Self.
We out here. So what I wanted to talk to y'all about today, the White Bay right here, he got a couple courses, you know what I mean? And these courses help you to change your life. It help you to change your life, change your mindset, and it help you overall. So his courses explain how to claim your birth certificate. A lot of y'all want to claim your birth certificate but don't know where to start. A lot of y'all want to build y'all credit but don't know where to start. And a lot of y'all want to get out of the bondage that you in and don't know where to start. So we're going to get a little bit into claiming your birth certificate. You want to elaborate first away?
Yes, I do. So anyway, over the years, I've been developing a process that show people, how to assert their rights, how to take their rights back, how to take claim over their life and start really enjoying themselves so that they're not under some type of aristocratic rule, being dictated and brainwashed and told what to do. Right now, we're in the age of information, which is, this is a time where you're going to come across a lot of new information, things that you may not understand or be privy to. You're going to want to start getting into it, and we've been pioneering that forefront. I've been doing this for 15 years, so I've been really pioneering, this knowledge and how to apply it and how to put it in layman's terms so that people can understand it. Some people say, oh, it's too difficult. I can't learn this and I can't learn that. So we give you step-by-step methods, proven methods that work, that show you how to start reclaiming your birth certificate, things like that, your titles. A lot of people don't understand, titles, ownership, trust. A lot of people don't understand that, what it's about. They just only know what they're told at the display window when they're dealing with agents and saying, just sign right here and do this and do that. They don't understand the fine print. So we're going to get into all of that in these courses, teaching you the fine print and how to, govern yourself.
Definitely. So basically, since I known the White Bay, he been doing a lot of seminars, going around the world, helping people to stay out of jail, helping people get out of jail, helping people to claim their birthrights. I took a lot of his courses. He taught me a lot of knowledge. In 2013, I studied this information for a long time on how to get out of jail, what to do when you get pulled over by police and stuff like that. And he also helped people get rid of child support. So if you have any child support issues, he can help you get rid of child support. If you have any up-and-coming court cases or charges, he can help you alleviate those. So you might want to share this video with the people that you love and the people you know, because we about to dig real deep. So basically, in 2013, from I say 2010 all the way to 2013 was when I was studying the knowledge. I claimed my birthright. I actually changed my name from Michael Sheffield to Karan L. Bay. And what I did was I took one of his course, you see what I'm saying, and I joined a society that he put me up on. He was a part of the society too. They taught me who I was. I was able to trace my ancestral roots all the way back to being Cherokee and Choctaw. And I figured out that back in the day they used to take the census, and all my ancestral roots was on the census, so I did a lot of research on that. I researched the Dog's Road, which is the oldest record in the book. I figured out that I was Cherokee Choctaw, and then I started claiming my birthrights by sending notices to the Department of State. I sent it to 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue. I filed the paperwork that I got from the Dog's Road. They gave me a certificate. The certificate showed my nationality as being Cherokee and Choctaw. I took that certificate, put all the governments on notice. I sent it to 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue. They put a stamp on it that showed the exemption. I got an EIN number. The EIN number is a tax exemption number. So that's how I operate now with an EIN number. I no longer use my social for anything. I use an EIN number. So I filed my paperwork with the courts in Fulton County. showing my nationality and who I am and stuff like that. And it was all by taking his course. You see what I'm saying? His course broke down and outlined everything from what to do, what not to do, how to file the paperwork, where to file the paperwork at, and stuff like that. And then his course helped a lot of people with child support that I know, get rid of child support and all these things. So a lot of people want to claim their birthrights, but they don't understand that they fictional entities. You see what I'm saying? They don't understand who they really are in society. They think that they the birth certificate, or they think that they the social. So what really happened was your birthrights was probated. Probate means to abandon. So they came up with a story and said that we was lost at sea. They came up with the story in Noah's Ark. And Noah's Ark was supposed to be when they took all the birthrights, you see what I'm saying, and they put them into, I guess you could call it a ship, and they shipped everything overseas, and then that put us into Admiralty law because they took all our birthrights and sold it to the British. You see what I'm saying? Once they took our birthrights and they sold it to the British, they started saying that we was lost at sea, so they put us into Admiralty law, and they put us under the jurisdiction of the military. So everything right now is ran by the military-industrial complex, so people don't even have a leg to stand on. So the Federal Reserve took over everybody's birthrights because the birth certificate is a bond, and that bond is keeping you in bondage, and it also became an instrument, a debt instrument that been sold to the British. That debt instrument is right now on file with the British banks, and you being charged taxation for everything that they do with that instrument. So if you run around with a birth certificate right now and you haven't claimed your birthrights, now is the time to actually claim your birthrights to get yourself out of bondage.
Definitely.
So can you elaborate a little bit, because I'm going in.
Well, the thing, like I said, with the birth certificate is a lot of people don't realize that that's one of the documents that classifies you as a slave, as property to somebody else. And I don't know about you, I don't want to be nobody's property, So, we like to give step-by-step process on how to get it done so that you're not in the dark about things and you're not guessing. We make it real simple for you to learn. We point out the laws so that you know what's enforcing it, because right now we don't have an army to enforce certain things, but there are laws in place that protect certain things, and it's been like that for a while now. So it's going to be a lot to learn, a lot of information. Don't let it overwhelm you. Take it day by day. It's a lifestyle change. So when you make that lifestyle change, you start to acquire that discipline to be able to learn these things. Otherwise, you wouldn't have time because they got you on a clock. They got you working. They got you doing a lot of things to distract you. You're watching TV, a lot of things like that. But once you start learning this knowledge, you start to be disinterested in things like that. You start to learn who you are, where you come from, what type of slavery and condition you're under, what type of land you're standing on. You learn the history of the land that you're standing on and how to start acquiring land and things like that. The birth certificate was a form to civilize people, and that goes back to the Roman law. You had to be civilized through the birth document. So that's how they got you into their system, which is the registry, the civil registry. So we're taking you up out the civil registry, helping you with child support. I've been able to help celebrities get off of child support. They contacted me, get them out of child support. But one thing you got to know about this is it's a mental fight. So you got to have a strong mind and a strong will to be able to learn these things, So if you're a mental bum and you don't like reading and things like that, you're going to have a hard time, getting into it. But for those that seek, they shall find. And, we're here to bring solution. Most people just talk about the problem, They tell you a lot of stuff about the problem. We're going to give you the solution so that you can fix the problem. We're not going to ego stroke you. We're going to give you the real business of things and how to carry yourself, how to conduct trust and things like that, how to, protect your family and your assets and your money and everything else.
So number one is this. America is a corporation, like we all know. when you work for a company in America and you work for the corporation, it's called moonlighting. So they charging you for taxes. They taking taxes out your check. You getting hit twice. Actually, it's called double dipping. So you need to separate yourself from the American corporation, and you have the right to do so. But most people think that is a government. These people have been de facto since 1934. There's no such thing as American government. You have administrators that's no process and procedure and everything. They not over you. They don't have no control over you. You give them control. When you was born, your parents signed the birth certificate. They gave your birthrights to the Department of Vital Statistics. From the Department of Vital Statistics, your birth certificate was sent overseas to be monetized. When they monetized it, they put you millions of dollars in debt. Being that you millions of dollars in debt, you don't have a leg to stand on, because every time you get a job or you work, they taking taxes out. So what we did was we figured out the scrutiny that was going on. I claimed my birth certificate by figuring out the treasury of the United States was being policed by the IRS. The British hired the IRS, which is the internal revenue, to police the treasury, because the treasury is quote unquote supposed to be the fiduciary of your birth certificate. A fiduciary is a person that controls in the state of another person. The estate is the well-being in your whole everything. It's the whole makeup of you. The estate of you. The estate of Michael Sheffield, the state of the White Bay, the state of Karan El Bay. It's your estate. Your estate is everything. So if you don't own your estate, then you're a corporate slave. We was emancipated into monetary slavery. We got out of being whooped with chains and everything and not being able to be educated to put into monetary slavery. And now that you're in monetary slavery, you don't have a leg to stand on, because the judge, quote unquote, supposed to be the fiduciary, and the prosecutor is supposed to be the beneficiary. Well, the prosecutor is supposed to be the fiduciary, and the judge supposed to be the beneficiary. So when you go to court, automatically the prosecutor bringing up a charge against you, and then the judge is taking that charge and running it through the court, so the court clerk could get paid, he could get paid, the prosecutor could get paid, and the attorney general could get paid. You understand? So they running the game with you. They playing the game with you because they know that your birth certificate is probate. To probate means to abandon. They saying that you abandoned your birth certificate because you didn't stand on your square, because you didn't have knowledge that you were supposed to even stand on your square. You see what I'm saying? Right. So when you go to court, they able to throw you in jail. They able to do whatever they want with you because you don't own your birth certificate. You don't own the rights to your birth certificate. The rights to your birth certificate is owned by the United States of America.
Let me break that down for them a little bit. So when we're talking about owning your birth certificate, let's say you have your car, right? In order to show that you own your car, you have to show that title. Let's say that you have your house, you have to show that deed. So when you're dealing in these courts and you can't show that you own yourself through your title, which is your birth certificate, then they claim ownership because it's considered to be abandoned. And they already probated that, so that they can take control of that. But when you become the age of majority and you assert that right, you show that you can govern self, then you take that power away from them, then you give yourself the power. So that's the thing, it's about controlling your own power. You're not going to let nobody tell you what to do with your title to your car. And if somebody take it, what you're going to do, you're going to be able to defend against it by saying, hey, I have the title. It's in my name. I own that. See what I'm saying?
Definitely. So that's called a lodial title. That's the true title. They give you a certificate, and that's a certificate of ownership, but it's not a lodial title. It's not a real title. So when you see them as a lien holder on your title, that means that they can do whatever they want with you. So basically what you need to do is these simple steps. Number one, you need to create a trust. A trust is a document between yourself and the straw man, which is the fictional entity. Let's get straight what's a straw man. A straw man is the birth certificate. Is a difference between you being a sentient being. God made you as a sentient being. That's a natural man and a natural woman. When you looked at in the courts, you looked at as a person. A person is a fictional entity.
Jurisdicted person.
Yeah, it's a character. It's just like if you went out and drew the Disney character and you gave it a name or something like that. It's a character. So they look at you as a character. In order for you to get out of that bondage, you got to realize the difference between a sentient being, a real person, which is a being of light that came from God, is a force of light, or a fictional entity. So when you look at both of them, the fictional entity operate through the court system and is governed under statute and code. Statute work on the state level, codes work on the federal level. So you got the state and the federal jurisdiction. So when the cop pull you over, he giving you a statute, and that statute is a summons for you to come to court. So he not giving it to you. He giving it to your birth certificate, which is the straw man. You understand? He not giving it to you. He giving it to the birth certificate. So if you don't own your birth certificate, when he give you that ticket and you go to court, the judge going to stomp all over you, have his way with you, and then they going to either throw you in jail or charge you with a fine. When you come into that courtroom, automatically they bring in a charge against you. When they bring a charge against you, they tapping into your Sesta K trust. You have two trusts that was set up in your name when you first was born. One is called the Sesta K, and one is called the Sesta KV. The birth certificate is the Sesta K. The Social Security card is the Sesta KV. So both of the trusts that been set up, you got to collapse both trusts. You got to claim your birth certificate so you could get out of bondage. So when you go to court, automatically that charge become a municipal bond. They take that bond and start trading on the municipal market. So now that means they trading you as a fictional entity, as a fake person with a birth certificate. They trading you on the market until you get wise and start listening to what we saying and actually stand on your square. It's right. One thing to get this information and don't act at all, or not to even listen to the information because you still going to be in bondage. For one, you never going to reach the status you want to reach as being successful or being rich or a millionaire or whatever you want to do, because you still going to be a slave to society. No matter how many millions you make or how rich you get, you still not going to be able to claim your birthrights. You still going to be paying taxes, and the more money you make, the more they going to tax you. So when you learn what this brother right here teaching his course, how to govern yourself accordingly, how to eliminate taxes off the straw man, how to build your credit up, how to get rid of child support, these are all the problems that people face. These problems become problems in your mind, and it start causing stress on your body, because now you're trying to not only deal with society, you dealing with the problems that's actually making you feel some kind of way, make you feel down, depressed, like you don't have no ownership of self. You're wondering why all these things are happening and you don't have no control over it. People want to go to court and feel like they got control. People be scared to go to court. And the one thing you know that this thing is true is that when you go to court, you can't just leave the court. If they summons you to court and you got some type of arraignment where you got to plead guilty or not guilty and you go to court, you cannot leave out the court. You go to court, you leave out the court, you go to jail. So if you have all the control over yourself like you think you have, why can't you just walk out the court? Explain that to me. I'll wait. So I'm just being straight up. So if you can't just walk out the courtroom and the judge got that power over you, obviously we not lying. We not just blowing smoke up your ass. You could go to YouTube right now and type in the straw man and it'll tell you everything about it. But unfortunately, these people that's putting out this information is not giving you the steps, which is processes and procedures in order for you to govern yourself accordingly. This man laid out a step-by-step course that allows you to govern yourself accordingly, to get out of bondage and not be a corporate slave. You got people running around trying to say that they Cherokee Indian or they Choctaw Indian, but they don't have no paperwork to show it. How do you know that you Cherokee or Choctaw Indian? How do you even trace your roots or your background? Most of y'all got slave names anyway. A lot of y'all got these last names that belong to the slave traders that was predecessing your family members. So how do you know that you're not a corporate slave? The best thing you could do is take this man course, get the knowledge on how to claim your birthrights, how to claim your nationality, correct your nationality. I corrected my nationality, so I'm no longer Michael Sheffield, formerly Michael Sheffield. Now I'm Karan L. Bey. Bey is one of the original last names from the forefathers, which was Benjamin Bey, Benjamin Banneker. Benjamin Banneker was a Moor because he helped the slaves after realizing that he was a predecessor to help these people that came over to this country that started slaving our Aborigines. The Aborigines was the first people that was here, the first sentient beings. Let's not refer them to people. People is a fictional entity. We're going to say sentient beings, a natural person, a being of light, which God created. So we're going to refer to these Aborigines as sentient beings. So when they came over here, they created 13 colonies. Virginia was the first colony. Out of the colonies, that was for them to start using the laws, which is the laws of Canada, the Parliament laws. They got two different laws. One is the Canadian law, which governed the whole European country, which is Parliament. And then we got Admiralty law, which governed all the countries. And then we got statutory law, we got ecclesiastic law, we got Roman law, and God created divine law. We operate under divine law. That's what we know, divine law. The law of gravity, the law of attraction. You see what I'm saying? The law of the universe. All of these are divine principles. But then they took us out of the divine shit that we was once into, and they enslaved the Aborigines. When they took over this country, they put up laws and everything to unbound the Aborigines, and they stripped the land from them. They sold the gold, they sold the land, then they sold your birthrights. When they took those three things from you, they stripped you of your power. They stripped the Aborigines of their power. So now you got people running around thinking that they human when they sentient beings. You got people thinking that running around being told what to do, being controlled by the courts, not knowing that they probated. So what I did was, when I figured this out, and I took this brother course right here, I took action automatically. I claimed my birth certificate. That was number one. And the way I did that was I did some forms with the IRS. You see what I'm saying? And one of them is an 8832. One of them is a 2448. The 2448 is a power of attorney form. The 8832 is electing an entity, because they look at these corporations as an entity. An entity is just like being a person. They look at these corporations as being equal to you. So when you go into the courtroom, it's you, the judge, and your corporation, or it's just you against the corporation, which is the courts. So now you got a social security number. The court's got an EIN number. It's your social versus their EIN number, and that's called commerce. That's the way you operate in commerce, because you putting two different entities together that could do business with each other. But unfortunately, you don't want to do business. You see what I'm saying? They're forcing you. They coercing you into doing business because they getting you to sign contracts without your knowing. People don't even read the fine print nowadays. They just put their name on whatever and they just accept whatever. You don't have to accept whatever. We've been tricked into bondage. Now it's time for you to wake up, take your nationality back, You ask most people what are their nationality, they can't tell you. You ask them what their ethnicity, they can't tell you because they don't know. They mental been stripped. They went from operating from a solar system, which is the root of the soul, to operating in the computer system. So now they got you caught up into two different time dimensions. One time dimension is the matrix, which is the number pattern that controls everything in this reality. That's everything. Things are measured, weighed. You got numbers on documents and all of these things. That's the matrix. It's the Fibonacci sequence. A sequence of numbers that create an action of events. A sequence of numbers that creates energy. These numbers that's being put together is imbounding you. It's the matrix. Like, let me give y'all an example. When you sleep, when you awake in this reality, you sleep in the spiritual world. When you sleep in the spiritual world, you awake in this reality. So we in between two time dimensions, and the dimensions are separated by the geological patterns of shapes. Shapes create dimensions. You had a planet solids, which is shapes. So, like I said, when you are awake in this reality, you sleep in the spiritual world. When you sleep in the spiritual world, you awake in this reality. When you in the spiritual world and your spirit want to connect back to the body, you wake up and your spirit comes back into the avatar again. And now you're able to see into this reality. Unfortunately, they figured out those time dimensions that everything is binary codes, ones and zeros. They was able to trap you into a false time matrix because they created the computer. They put the birth certificate and the social security card on the computer to keep record of everyone's existence. So everyone fell victim to it and started operating from a computer system and not a solar system. So now they got you caught up into a computer system, and then they got you caught up into this simulated reality. Let's get this straight. This reality that you're seeing right now, that we are visualizing, this is a simulated reality. This reality is not real because the spirit separates from the body during the time of your death or the time that you pass over, let's per se, and you no longer relevant to this reality. So that's how we know that we're not in this reality exactly, that we are a beam of light being beamed from the cosmos, from the intergalactic planetary system into this reality. Your spirit is being beamed into your body. So your body is in your spirit. Your spirit is not in your body. So when you separate from this reality, you go back into the spiritual world. So now you're stuck in between three worlds, really. Two worlds, but three worlds. One is the spiritual world, one is the simulated world, and one is the computer world, which is the internet. So we go between three worlds and don't even know it. Most people get stuck in between the internet world and don't have no reality over this whole false fiction at all. They don't have no vision. Most people get caught up into this simulated reality and they don't have no vision, and then they get caught up into the spiritual reality because they was taught to practice religion. You see what I'm saying? So let me explain this to you, and I said that to say because we about to dig real deep like a dagger. I just had to touch the surface to get you to actually realize what's going on here. That you being hoodwinked, bamboozled, scrutinized, led astray. You see what I'm saying? And all of those things. You being manipulated. Let's put it like that. So you being manipulated by all of these false matrices that being put in place to distract you from the real truth of existence. The real fact is that this reality don't have no limits. You could do whatever you want in this reality. You put limits on yourself by taking titles, by actually being a part of their government, being a part of their vision, their reality, the things that they put in front of you. You don't have to partake in these realities. These are false matrix. Everything is a matrix. Everything is numbers. So when they talk about the matrix, they talking about the computer system. They talking about this simulated reality. Then they talking about the spiritual world, the three worlds. We got 3 worlds in this simulated reality. One world is the creation, that's the mind. The second world is the hands, you source the energy. The third world is the matter, the molecules that carry vibration. So in order for you to really, really claim your sovereignty, you have to become sovereign in your mind first. They see, in order for them to actually pull a wool over your eyes, they had to first strip you of your thinking. And they stripped you of your thinking because most people depend on the government. They depend on the government, and it ain't no government. You just depending on people that's just pushing buttons. All they know is process and procedure. So they tricked your parents into signing the birth certificate. They took the birth certificate and monetized it with a bank. They knew when you turned 18, you was going to register with Selective Service. Selective Service is really the Census Bureau to take a census of how many people are in existence. When they got that census, they knew that you was turning 18, and they said, when you turn 18, we're going to charge you the taxes for all the money that accumulated, all the interest that accumulated from them trading your birth certificate on the U.S. stock market. So if it wasn't for us being the conduits, America would have been fell off a long time ago. As far as I'm concerned, it's not even no America. All of that is just some false garbage. Some bullshit. You see what I'm saying? So I took this man course, and by taking the course, it really woke me up, and it allowed me to realize how much of the wool been pulled over people's eyes and how much control they don't even have over their own lives. You see what I'm saying? So we're gonna get into this. The first thing that you need to do is, for one, you need to figure out what your nationality is, and the course going to help you to do that. You either Cherokee, Choctaw, you either Barefoot Indian, and you know it's a lot of different Indian tribes, Blackfoot, all of that. There's a lot of different tribes. You figure out where your ancestral background came from. The second thing, you need to figure out your birth certificate rights. You need to do a Form 56 on your birth certificate. That's the fiduciary form to claim your birth certificate. And if you don't know how to do it, he explained in the course how to do it. You see what I'm saying? How to authenticate your birth certificate. Because right now your birth certificate is not authenticated in order for you to move the way you're supposed to move with the birth certificate. That's number one. Once you get all of that done, you're going to send the paperwork to the U.S. Treasury. The Treasury you just giving them the acknowledgement. Like, look, we know that you was the fiduciary of this birth certificate at one point, but now we appointing a new fiduciary. We taking back the legal power of this birth certificate, and we operating it. So now you just collapsed the birth certificate trust. You just collapsed the trust on the Social Security, and you move those ownerships into a private trust that his course show you how to create. Once you get a private trust, every trust operates under common law. Common law was the first law that was ever created in the world. Well, not even the first law. Let me take that back. Common law was one of the laws that they created. Divine law is the first law, period. But common law was a false law that they created, and it was only to govern the corporations, not people. Common law wasn't created for natural sentient beings such as ourselves. They only created common law to work in favor of people during the Thompson and Ernie case, when a man was standing on the railroad. He got hit with a board in the back. He tried to sue the corporation, and he couldn't sue the corporation because he wasn't a member of that corporation. After that, the laws got obliterated. Common law started being structured to actually go against people, and the only way that they was able to make common law go against people is by stripping people of their sovereignty and making them a corporation, just like the corporation that they created the law for. So if you understand what I just said, you will understand how this came about and how they put you into bondage and how they stripped you of your birthrights and everything. So when they created you into a corporation, now they could start charging you with laws because they own the birth certificate for one. They putting liens on your birth certificate. They able to charge you statutes and codes. So if you're driving down the street, the cop pull you over, he give you a ticket. He not giving you a ticket, he giving the straw man the ticket. But then you represent the straw man You hold a title. You don't hold a loaded title. You hold a certificate of title to the birth certificate. The judge in the courts and the Department of State of this United States is holding the load of your title. They just giving you a certificate, and the certificate is just saying that we reference you as a certificate holder, but you're not the full owner of this birth certificate. So in due course, we could do what the fuck we want to do with you.
Right. Let me add this. When they give you that ticket, what most people do is they act as that corporation instead of, you know, acting as a trustee or a fiduciary of that corporation or guardian ad litem. You act specifically as that corporation, so you incur the liability. And with the course that I put together, you know, my number one discipline in that course is to invoke thought, you know, to teach you how to pull the Excalibur out of the stone, you know. So it's going to be information impactful, full of information to learn things. So what I think is I want the people to do is, if they're interested in learning about it, learning more, and diving into it, I want you to leave your email so that we can be able to know who to take serious, basically, you know. Because, you know, I can't take everybody serious. You know, I've been doing this for 15 years. I done heard a lot of excuses. I heard a lot of, you know, anything. You know, I want to be able to take people serious. If you're serious, leave your email so we can establish some form of connection, and then we can start, you know, getting you the information that's going to change your life.
So let me go into one thing. Let me explain one thing to y'all. So I set up a trust, right? When I set up a trust, I was able to put all my assets in the trust. The car I own, the jewelry I own, the assets I own, anything I own, I put it into a trust. Once I put everything I own into a trust, now I got full ownership over it because it moves into a common law jurisdiction, and the courts don't have no jurisdiction over common law because common law was kicked out the courts a long time ago. But they couldn't change the nature of a trust because God created the first trust, and they can't change the trust law on divine law. They cannot change that. No matter how much power they have, no matter none of that, they can't change that law. So when I understood that and I created my trust, I was able to protect my assets, right? So then when I did an 8832 on my trust, I was able to send that trust paperwork to the IRS, put them on notice. The IRS sent me a certificate of exemption showing my trust is exempt from levy and exempt from taxes. So now when I walk in the store, I show them my trust certificate and they eliminate the taxes and give me their tax card and whatever the hell. And then I walk in, they scan it. I got Walmart tax exemption card. I got Home Depot, Lowe's, all the stores. Any department store you name, I have the tax exempt. Actually, because I went there, filled out the paperwork, showed them my status and everything, and when they saw that, they gave me this tax exemption card for their store and the process that they moved through. But that's a whole nother situation. You see what I'm saying? So I eliminated taxes. When I did work a 9 to 5, I only had one job in my whole life, to be honest with you, one real job. I eliminated taxes from my job too, because I showed the HR department how it was coming, that I was tax exempt, that I was the owner of my estate, and when they saw that, there wasn't nothing they could do but exempt me from levy, which is a tax. You see what I'm saying? So his course show you how to exempt yourself from tax, how to stand on your square and everything. Since I took his course, my life been different. I went overseas. They told me, oh, if you go overseas and you stay over the limit, the U.S. allow you to only stay overseas for a year or a few months. I went over there and stayed 4 years, came back into America with no problem. You see what I'm saying? So all of that is a bunch of hoopla. So another thing I want y'all to understand is this too. He got a course on land patent. The government can't own land, they can only assign land. And that's a law. You see what I'm saying? They can only assign a land. In order for them to sell the land, they assigned it over to themselves by tricking the Aborigines into selling them the land. And then they sold the land they sold Alaska, and then they sold the land to different countries, right? So Right now, it was one time one of my boys called me up, and that was after taking his course. I already had the knowledge, right? One of my boys called me up, and they was like, let's do a program called Cash for Keys, right? So I was like, okay. I had money, he had money, so he was like, we're going to do Cash for Keys. I was like, what's Cash for Keys? And he was like, we're going to start taking foreclosed properties. We're going to give people the money for the foreclosed properties, and then we're going to have them to leave the property, but we're going to save their credit without allowing the foreclosure to go on their credit. So a lot of people lost their job, they went into debt, they was facing financial distress, so they was unable to pay the taxes on the property. They was unable to pay the mortgage on the property, so they lost everything almost. You see what I'm saying? So we came in, he calls me up and say, I got a $3 million mansion in Sandy Springs that the people wanted to foreclose. And they was about to get foreclosed on and put out. So he was like, look, he talked to people into taking $5,000. So they said, we'll take $5,000, we'll assign the property over to you guys, and when y'all get the property under control and you sell the property, to give them $100,000, right? They signed the property over to us. They gave us a quit claim deed. We had the quit claim deed, but that didn't give us full ownership of the property. We just had rights to the property. That was it. So taking his course gave me the knowledge to be able to take action, right? So once I took his course, I figured out that the government can't own property. They can only assign property, and I had all the paperwork and all the steps in order for me to do a land patent on the property. So I brought the paperwork over to my boy office, which was in Chamblee. So I brought the paperwork over to his office. We sitting there. I had all the steps to the paperwork. We got the quitclaim deed. We went over and filed the quitclaim deed in the courts. We put it in the book and page number in real estate. Once I filed the quitclaim deed in real estate, now it was on the record. So we had the quitclaim deed, and we sent the quitclaim. Well, once we had the quitclaim deed, we went over to the Georgia Archives. The Georgia Archives is the oldest archives in the world. And every state got their own archives. Some state got different type of setups and stuff like that. But Georgia got an archive. So I went to the Georgia Archives. We was able to go to the archives and pull up the land plat for that particular property. We pulled up the land plat for that property. I saw who was the original owner of the property from 1892. So that was the first deed that was ever created for that property. So I took that deed from 1892, and we went down to the courts and put the quitclaim deed with that deed, and we filed it in the book and page in the courts. Once we filed that in the book and page in the courts, they gave us some numbers that they put on there, and they stamped it and everything. Then we sent it to Pro Title, which is the title company. And we told the title company, look, we own this property, da-da-da, this and that. So Pro Title put us as the owners of the property. Now we physically own the property. We got the quitclaim deed, the original grant deed from 1892, and it's on file in the courts. Then we got it on file with Pro Title. So now we own the property. When we looked at the property, the back taxes on it was $1 million. I'm like, okay, we're going to eliminate the taxes next. So it was $1 million in back taxes, so I already knew they was going to either try to foreclose on the property and take it from us, or they was going to either try to do a tax sale and everything and try to do it on the steps of the courts. But me taking this man's course and having the knowledge, I wasn't letting it happen. So I went down to the tax assessor's office. First, we created a trust. We knew we needed a trust because we wanted to put the property in trust. So we created the trust. We put me and his name on it. Both of us was the beneficiaries and the grantor of the trust. We put the property in the trust and went down to the tax assessor's office. We showed the tax assessors, the tax assessor, the manager at the tax assessor's office, that we owned the property and everything. And it was a lady that was at the desk, which was an administrator. She was just knowing process and procedure. She didn't have no real power of authority and everything. So she tried to say that we couldn't do what we was trying to do as far as with the property, the manager came over there and was like, what they trying to do with the property is 100% legal. So the property was already in the trust. We showed them that, and they said we had to have insurance, car insurance. So we showed them the car insurance and all of that type of stuff. So then I had a form that said remove the property out of the registry, out of the tax registry. So I removed the property out of the tax registry, and that eliminated the taxes from the property. So now we're sitting up here with a $3 million property, eliminated $1 million worth of taxes, and now we're dealing with the foreclosure on the property. So now they kept getting a lot of letters in the mail and all of that. And the letters were saying that they had a service and pooling company that was trying to foreclose on the property. So these people was trying to foreclose on the property and everything. So my boy ain't know what to do. I had all the knowledge on what to do, so I'm typing up all the paperwork. I'm typing MOUs up and all of that type of stuff. So I typed up all the paperwork. We took the quit claim deed that we had. We took the trust. We had the original grant deed from 1892. Then we had the paperwork from the tax assessor's office showing that the taxes was eliminated, and then we had the title from the pro title company. We took all of that and sandwiched it into one whole document. Then we went and revised the filing that was in the real estate book and page, and we filed all of that paperwork in the book and page and real estate in the court. And once we did that, and we had the file number, we sent all that paperwork to the service and pooling company, which was trying to foreclose, and then they wasn't trying to hear it. They wasn't even trying to hear what we was doing, and they said they was still trying to foreclose. So I said, okay, let's turn it up another notch, right? So I went and got an attorney. I went and got a sanitized audit. A sanitized audit is for anybody that's trying to commit fraud on you or anything. The attorney will actually dig through all the records, all the paperwork to acknowledge the fraud. So we knew that whenever you have a property, they make you sign a UCC, which is a note. And then they create a note off the UCC, which is a promissory note, which you promising to pay. So we know it's illegal for one mortgage company or a bank to sell a note to another bank and all of this hoopla. So we said, okay, we know it's fraud somewhere in here. So the lawyer was there to pull the fraud out. So we had to pay him a few $1,000s for him to do that. So the lawyer put all the fraud out and showed us the fraud that was going on. It's called a sanitized audit. We got the sanitized audit done. We was able to show the fraud. So we sent that to the service and pooling company. That wasn't enough. So we said, okay, they want to keep playing around. So that scared them up. When it scared them up, that caused them to try to get an attorney themselves, and they tried to do accelerated foreclosure on the property. They tried to close on the property the same day that we sent them the documents, or a couple days later, they tried to do accelerated foreclosure, right? So we wasn't having it. So I said, okay, they trying to get slick. My boy was all nervous, like, what we do now? I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get a surveyor to come in, and we're going to survey the land. So we paid a surveyor to come over, to come in. They drew a property line on the land and all of that. They was able to survey the land. So we figured out that the property was originally in Henry County, but then they moved it over to Fulton County by drawing some bullshit property line, and that property line that they drew, they was able to allow the city to collect taxes on the property. So when we got the survey done, we moved the property back to the county again, which it came from. We already removed the tax, so we wasn't paying tax, but we wanted the property to be in the proper essence. So now, being that they did a survey on the land, they gave us a new land plat. So we had to take that land plat and file it in real estate again. You see what I'm saying? So now we the owners of the land plat, we the owners of the land, because they was trying to close on the brick and mortar. They couldn't close on the land. The brick and mortar is the bricks that hold the property up. We owned the land because we did a land patent. You see what I'm saying? So they was trying to close on the brick and mortar. We wasn't letting it happen. So what we did was we said, okay, when they was trying to do the accelerated foreclosure, they said we foreclosing on the property today. And it was one of the days that we got the letter in the mail and said that they doing an accelerated foreclosure. So what I did was I got on the computer, I pulled up who the attorney was, And then we pulled up who the service and pooling company was, the company that was trying to foreclose, and then we looked at who the lawyer was trying to foreclose. So I found the CEO of the company, the president, the CFO, everybody. I wrote down all their names. I got the name of the lawyer, his law firm, and everything. And we went down to the courts and we told the judge that we want to file a lawsuit against these people. So the judge was like, okay, you got to have the names of the people. I already had everybody inside the lawsuit. You see what I'm saying? So then I paid the $400 to file a lawsuit against these companies, against the lawyer and against the service and pooling company. So I filed a lawsuit against these people, right? So the judge told me, you got to serve this lawyer in order for it to be active. So I'm like, how the hell do we serve this lawyer? He said, you got to hire a process server. So he was like, well, you won't have time today to hire a process server. So we called the process server. We hauled ass out the court. It was like around 3 o'clock or something like that. So we called the process server. The process server said, oh, I can't serve the documents today. Y'all gonna have to wait 2 days. Mind you, they about to foreclose on the property that day. So I said, oh, hell no. So I looked at the lawyer's address. So I told him, drive me over there. I'm gonna serve this shit myself. So we went over to the lawyer's office. By the time we got there, it was like 4:50. They about to foreclose on the property at 5 o'clock. So I ran out the car. I'm trying to make it. I'm in the lawyer's office. I'm hauling ass. I'm looking at the things, that go across the show, the lawyer name and all that. So I saw his floor. So I get up there. I bust through the door. Boom, boom, boom. The secretary was scared as hell. Like, how can I help you? Oh, my God. I was like, I came to see the lawyer. She said, who are you? I said, I'm the process server. I said, he being served. She said, oh, is he? She ain't want no parts of it. So she said, let me ring him in. So she said, sir, you got a process server that's here to see you. And he said, okay, let him in. So they let me in. He let me in. He's sitting in his office. I said, you been served. And he was like, I'm being sued? Oh, my God. He was like, who I'm being sued by? You see, I said, I don't know, sir. I'm just a process server. That's it. So I gave him the paperwork. I stood there for 5 minutes, and then I just walked right out the door. So once he got the paperwork, he looked at the paperwork. That next day, we got a letter saying that the lawyer withdrew from the case, and he was no longer trying to do accelerated foreclosure on the property. So then the date of the court case came up where we had to go to court. So now we go into court. We get there, nobody showed up. The banks ain't show up because when we did the sanitized audit, we saw that Washington Mutual was the first owners of the property that gave the original loan. We saw that Chase Bank was the second owners, and then we saw Bank of America. So this note been sold 3 times. So when we went to court, none of these people showed up. The service and pooling company never showed up that was trying to foreclose. The lawyer never showed up that was trying to foreclose. None of these people showed up. So when they didn't show up, the judge gave us a default judgment, meaning that they defaulted on all the paperwork they ever sent us or whatever they was trying to make a claim on, and we got a $3 million mansion. You see what I'm saying? For $5,000. And then me and him went 50,000 a piece, and we gave these people 100,000 as we promised them. So we paid $105,000 for a $3 million mansion. So now I have a $3 million mansion in Sandy Springs where I own the land and the brick and mortar. So I did a land patent, and all this information that I'm giving you, I learned from this man course right here. And you could do it too. So right now, any property that you want to take over, you could take over any property. You see what I'm saying? So if y'all want this particular course and you want this knowledge, you're going to click the link below, and I'm going to paste that in this live right here to show y'all how to get the course. You see what I'm saying? I just feel like I needed to put that out there, being that we was talking about the straw man and we was touching base and everything, but this man course right here changed my life. I ain't gonna even lie to you. So you want to elaborate a little bit more on your course or something like that?
It basically, it's covering a lot of different aspects of your life and the control over your life. So it's teaching you how to take back control from dealing with the courts, dealing with trust, dealing with money, property. One thing I want to throw out there: if you look at a lot of these celebrities, rappers, actors, they all have tax issues. They get all their money and they splurge. Next thing you know, here come the IRS, arrest them. Look what happened to Lauryn Hill, Wesley Snipes, a few other people, Jermaine Dupri. They don't know how to control, their finances. So we're gonna teach, it's gonna be in the course how to control your finances. You're gonna learn those things, so you don't have to go through, the ill will that these celebrities go through, not knowing these things. Just because, you're a celebrity and you have popularity and things like that, don't mean that you have the knowledge. This here is knowledge without the college. So you're going to learn so much stuff. You're going to be able to teach other people. So you're going to be able to apply it to your own life. So this information is real important, and it's been a build up over 15 years of learning, applying things, trial and error to perfection. And it's been, perfected to where you can apply it according to what you have going on. I don't want to go back to the old me, the things that I didn't know. I want to stay right here and keep learning and keep building.
And stay relevant.
Keep teaching people, absolutely, stay relevant. And if you want to get relevant in this information, you're going to tune in, definitely.
So basically, and then he showed me how to structure my credit. You see what I'm saying? I took another one of his course, which was a credit course. He showed me how to build my credit up, how to use credit to acquire money to get businesses and do all of this. We have money and everything, you see what I'm saying? Because Unc owned a bank and all of that type of stuff, but credit was one of the things that I was missing, that avenue. You see what I'm saying? So he got a credit course that I took. He showed me how to clean my credit. He showed me a few credit tricks and all of that type of stuff. And it got me pumped. You see what I'm saying? I'm always excited about information.
It teach you how to spend other people's money. So
exactly.
You can put your money away and spend somebody else's money. Take the risk with their money. Why take the risk with your money,
Exactly. So how are you governing yourself to protect your assets from people suing you? When he showed me how to build a trust, I was able to build this trust, protect my assets, and now people can't sue me because everything in the trust. And then he showed me how to put a lien on the trust. I put $1 billion lien on the trust. So whoever want to sue me, they got to pay $1 billion first. And it ain't nothing that the court could say because I'm able to put a lien on what the hell I want.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the information to this course on my page. And if y'all want this course, y'all will see it. Y'all could buy the course. You see what I'm saying? He'll work with y'all one-on-one to mentor y'all, to make sure that y'all get the information that y'all need the same exact way that I did, the same exact way that I came in tune with the knowledge and everything. And it just changed your life. It actually create mindset within yourself to allow you to become a better person. You see, a better sentient being. Let me correct that. And if you want to consider yourself a person, go ahead. Because I told you a person is a fictional entity. You a sentient being. You a being of light. So, but you still got to take over your straw man, though.
I actually want to add my book, in the course as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's
He have a
be
book,
a free
too.
book.
He giving you a free book.
228-page book.
228
full of
page
information.
Book. So, suit yourself. And Terry was asking how much the course costs. So we're going to post that on my page, how much the course costs, because it's different courses. So we can't really say how much it costs, because he got like maybe 5 or 6 courses, and each one of them is on different things. One of them is on trust law. One of them is on corporate fiction, credit, and all of that. So I just bought all the courses. I was just like, fuck it, I want everything. I need to know all this knowledge. So I just been like a steward. You see what I'm saying? Sitting up there, getting all the knowledge, retaining all this. One thing I could say too, you're not going to learn this in school. When you go to school, they're going to teach you how to go through school, get a job, even though you got a degree, and then they're going to put your ass in debt because they're going to put all of that lien from school on your credit. And then when jobs see that you got bad credit, or if you can't afford to do the things you want to do because you got bad credit, it's going to make the quality of your life go down. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that going to school is bad. Don't quote me on that. I'm just saying, if you're going to go to school and you're going to put yourself in debt, make sure you have an action plan to sustain that debt, because if you don't, you're going to put yourself into more debt. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not knocking none of that. You see what I'm saying? There's people that's billionaires that never even had a high school diploma. So school is not going to make you rich. They make it seem like it's the American dream. It's their dream to have everybody in America work for them, to be corporate slaves. You see what I'm saying? And that's what their dream is about. So I'm not knocking nothing. I'm not knocking going to school, because I think going to school only creates wisdom within yourself, and it's the wisdom to be able to decipher what's good about this and what's bad about it. But then when you young, you learn about the pros and the cons. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just telling you guys, like, these courses is amazing.
It will change your life.
I promise you. I take my hat off to this brother right here. I'm Karan El Bey. He the white Bey. We carrying the Bey as our last name. You see what I'm saying? Because we understand that was one of the original last names. My original name, which my birth name was Sheffield, I still use that as a DBA, doing business as. So I'm doing business as Michael Sheffield, but I'm not Michael Sheffield. You see what I'm saying? I just took Michael Sheffield and made him into a company, a corporation, and I trademarked the name. But then I changed my name to Karan El Bey, and that's the name that I go by. You see what I'm saying? So I smartened up. I said, okay, being that they took ownership of Michael Sheffield, I'm going to take ownership back, and I'm going to trademark the name, I'm going to copyright the name, and then I'm going to make it a corporation, and then I'm going to be able to fight this corporation that's against me in court and everything. So now I'm standing on my square. You see what I'm saying? I'm out here. So, you know, and I let me fix my bow tie to this success. And we out here. So I'm just giving y'all this knowledge. You see what I'm saying? Because it's exciting. You know, it feel good when you got a different set of knowledge from everybody else, because anybody could go to preschool, kindergarten, first grade, junior high, high school, college, and all of that. But when you know this knowledge, that separates you from being regular. At this stage in your life, you not regular. You see what I'm saying? If you older of some type of oldness, like I could say, age give you wisdom. There's most people that this shit'll go right over their head like a beach ball. You see what I'm saying? But if you old enough to decipher this information and this knowledge, it's gonna work for you. You see what I'm saying? I'm just being straight up honest. I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. I probably got a good smile, a nice little smile, but that's beside the point. This knowledge is what's the key. This is the key to your whole life. You see what I'm saying? This is what's going to separate the men from the boys and the women from the girls. You see what I'm saying? When you got this knowledge, you're able to stand on your two, and you're able to take care of your family. You're able to govern yourself from the courts trying to throw you in jail and take everything you got. And you're able to govern yourself from people that's out to do heinous acts or things to you. You see what I'm saying?
People want to take your labor and get value out of your labor.
Exactly. They want to slave you. So we here to teach you not to get into that bondage. You feel me? So I want y'all to understand that. You see what I'm saying? And one more thing while we on this subject and we doing this, I want y'all to check out my product too. It's CBDX6. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to go into a little bit of that. That's not what I'm on the video for, but while we on the video, why the hell not? So this CBDX6, right? This CBDX6 have a barcode scanner. You could scan the barcode and see the lab testing reports on the back, and the lab testing reports to show you what's in it, all the tests that is passed, and that is 100% safe. You see what I'm saying? The X is the dark matter that we are submerged in, the auric field that we all in, and the 6 is the 6 electrons, the 6 neurons, the 6 protons that govern your body to give you this reality. So this is a product of the gods right here, CBDX6. Then we have the oil, and this oil, it works with the endocannabinoid system of the body. You have an endocannabinoid system in your body that controls your sleep, it controls your diet, your anxiety, and the way that your immune system functions. So when you understand the endocannabinoid system, this oil builds up the endocannabinoid system in the body. In your brain, you have dopamine, you have serotonin, you have melatonin. Dopamine gives you the knowledge that you have to even be able to process information through your brain. Then you have serotonin, which you express love for people. And then you have melatonin, which help you sleep. This boosts all of those different frequencies within your brain. You see what I'm saying? So on the molecular level and on the subatomic level, these products are going to get you right because it's all natural. So if you don't believe me, you could Google the endocannabinoid system. You have receptors in the brain. The receptors is your reasoning, how your brain reasons with the body. It controls the nervous system through the endocrine system. So you have an L1 receptor and an L2 receptor. The L2 receptor is what controls the endocannabinoid system and everything. And you have an L1 receptor that controls the THC in the body. Naturally, you have THC in the body, and this product don't have no THC in it. THC is a psychoactive effect that gives you a high. When we created these products, we stripped it of the THC because we didn't want people to get high and everything. We want them to get healed. You see what I'm saying? So this product is not going to get you high because it's THC free, and then it's been federally regulated on the state and the federal level and everything to where it's safe to sell. And now this product is going into stores, CVS, Walgreens, and everything. And you know, like, God gave me a gift, and my gift is the knowledge of the body. Learning how to take the body from being to a sickly stage to being to a healed stage by knowing all the elements of the body. No matter what you can study in your life, people watch TV, they watch The Simpsons and shit, they watch Love and Hip Hop, they watch all of these TV shows, but they definitely can't tell you nothing about the body. With all the things in this world that you can study, why wouldn't you want to study your body? Why wouldn't you want to study something that's the vehicle, the life force, the driving of your whole existence? So if you're not studying your body and everything, then what the fuck is you living for? I'm just being straight up. You see what I'm saying? So people will study everything. They read magazines. They watch TMZ. They watch sports. They always misled. All these things mislead you to do this. But when somebody's showing you something that's going to heal you and your family, this shit fight cancer right here. Right now, this product fights cancer. It actually will stop you from catching cancer. If you don't believe me, you could Google this shit. I got it on my website, cbdx6.net. You could Google everything that's in it. Now, I mean, I'm not no spokesperson or none of that. I'm a real fucking person that's giving you real facts that's going to help you in this reality. Straight up. Take it or leave it. You feel me? So I'm just giving y'all something that you can heal your family with. CBDX6. This right here is going to be the new ibuprofen. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be in every medicine cabinet. It's going to be on every shelf in the world. And right now, we're moving at a big rate because we're giving a lot of alchemy to the X and to the 6. The 6 is the 6 electrons, the 6 neurons, and the 6 photons in your body. It's not the 666. They tricked y'all. You see what I'm saying? So for all of y'all that sleep, you will misunderstand what I'm saying. And for the people that's awakened, I expect you to take action right away. Serious action. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm on it. Like, I'm not playing. I feel 100% good. I'm 100% healthy. I haven't had a cold in ages. You see what I'm saying? And it's all due to CBDX6. You see that? Let me put that in the camera right quick. Let me get a focus shot of it. You see that? Got the gummies and everything, you know what I mean? And then we got the gel capsules right here that you could take. And all this here, you on the molecular level, got the nutritious facts. We got the lab reports on it, so you can see that it's laboratory tested and proven to be safe. Let me get back into focus. And then we got the salvia stick. For all y'all that's in pain, you rub this on your body. It's unscented. It'll take away all the pain you have in your body and alleviate the pain. So you want to get these products. I'm telling you that right now, it'll change your life. So if you got any family members that's dealing with pain, anxiety, high blood pressure, diabetes, all these different diseases, you better get them to jump on these products. I'm not just saying it because I'm the CEO of the company. I'm saying it because I know how it was created.
It actually worked.
And it worked. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. I ain't going to even hold y'all no more. We're going to end this live. But I appreciate you for being a good audience and everything. And even if you don't buy my products, at least buy this man course right here, because his course going to change your life no matter what. So no matter what you're going through or what you might be thinking at this particular time, buy this man course.
It's turn to learn.
It's definitely your turn to learn, or your turn to earn, goddamn. For real. So you know, we out of here.
Peace.